Hi, I'm Ellie, and this is your weekly theatre news recap, the most chaotic way to learn about all of the news in the UK theatre scene from the past week. This was a weirdly quiet news week. Like, very strangely quiet. I haven't seen a news week be this slow in a while. So I feel like next week we're just going to have like a bombardment of news. But there are some cool things here. There's some cool little things that you may have missed. So let us dive in. But remember, if you want to stay up to date with UK theatre in the West End, touring in regional theatres, make sure you hit subscribe, because I do these every single week to varying levels of success. But let's start, as we always do, with casting. First up, we have the casting for a Wuthering Heights musical workshop. There was a Emma Rice-directed production that toured the UK like a few years ago, which I saw. So I'm fairly familiar with Wuthering Heights. I feel like a musical has got to be like really folksy for Wuthering Heights. And you know me, I love a folksy musical, but let's see who's been cast in this version. Set to appear in this workshop is Cleve September, who'll be playing Heathcliff, Laura Denning, who's going to be playing Nellie Dean, Reese Whitfield, who's going to be playing Edgar Linton, Jasmine Hackett, who's going to be playing Isabella Linton, Luke Friend, who's going to be playing Hindley Earnshaw, and Lizzie Lister, who's going to be playing Kathy Earnshaw. There is an ensemble for the show who will be in the description down below. But yeah, if this is like a folksy musical, a little bit darker to match the darker tale of Wuthering Heights, I feel like this could be really successful. And I can't wait to see this musical in its next steps after this workshop. Next up, we have Song of Songs, a European premiere which is going to the Park Theatre, which is in North London. And the cast are comprised of Orpha Daniel, who has also written, directed, and composed the show. And they will be joined by Joaquin Pedro Valdez, who you may know from Death Note, Matthew Woodyat, Laurel Dougal, Rebecca Giacopazzi, Ashley Schumann, and Shira Kravitz. This is going to be opening at the Park Theatre in May, so if you want to go catch it, you can go over there to North London, an area of London I'm not very often in, but maybe I will be to go see this show. And finally, in casting news this week, I said there's not much. We have the first cast members for the Juliet tour. This was a really exciting announcement they made on Friday to celebrate International Women's Day. And, there's some good cast members here. We have newcomer Geraldine Sachdalen as Juliet. Really nice to see them give an opportunity to a newcomer as well. So exciting. We have Sandra Marvin, who is fantastic, a phenomenal performer, who's playing Angelique. Perfect casting. So good. I cannot wait to see this. And finally, Laura Dennings as Anne Hathaway. If you wanted to give a casting announcement in a quiet casting week, in a quiet news week, that would still get everyone excited, it was this. I like this. What's very interesting here is that these are very musical theatre names. So I feel like we're going to see a bigger like celebrity casting in a different role in the show. I feel like, especially with what I know about tours, and even Juliet, which has had star casting in it before, I feel like the role that I would have expected to be a bigger name would have been Angelique, which makes me think, who's going to be the celeb? Is it going to be Shakespeare? Actually, saying that, the guy who's currently in the Pretty Woman tour, Aurea Duba is Shakespeare? I wouldn't say no. I'm really excited to see the rest of this casting. And as you know, I'm very excited to see Anne Juliet back. I only got to see it once in town, and I stood. I did standing seats for Anne Juliet, which is really fun because it's like a boppy fun show. So you're just kind of like dancing along, doing the raw dance with them. That's all your casting news this week. We're going to move on to concerts, where there's only one announcement this week, but it's a very exciting one. Bradley Jaden, most known for his roles in Les Mis and Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends, also in Wicked and Phantom, is going to be taking a solo concert to a number of different countries. amongst this tour stop, and the reason that we are covering it today, is because he is going to be performing at Cadogan Hall in London, where he will be starring alongside a number of special guests on Friday, the 14th of June, 2024. Tickets are now available on that website. You can go and buy your tickets right now. And as well as that, there are some other tour dates. If for any Americans out there, Bradley Jaden's going to be going to the US. I see he's got a New York tour date as well, which is very exciting. But I'm not covering those because this is UK theatre news, and that's not the UK. That's all your concert news this week. Let's move on to our miscellaneous news, where quite a few shows actually got extensions this week. Like, a day after opening, MJ extended in the West End. This show is now booking until the 7th of December 2024. I have a strong feeling that this show is going to do quite well in the West End, especially knowing how well Thriller Live did when that was over here. I feel like MJ's got a quite strong future in the West End, and I don't think we're going to be saying goodbye to it on the 7th of December. As well as that, we have two long-running shows that have also extended, and these are Les Mis, which has extended to the 29th of March 2025, and Wicked, which is now joining the ranks of one of the longest extended shows, now booking to the 1st of June 2025. So if you want to go see any of those shows, you now have longer to do so. Very exciting. And now let's move on to our transfers and new productions. As I said, there's not actually that much this week. A lot of these news stories have actually come from the same theatre, which is the Southwark Playhouse Borough. And we are going to talk about them right now. First up, this is a very strange news story, and I'm not quite sure what to make of this show yet from this announcement. It feels like it's got a very certain style to it. And I feel like that is intriguing me a lot more than other people, and I'm kind of here for it. This show is called Fun at the Beach Romp Bump a Lump. And if you somehow missed it the first time I said it, it's called Fun at the Beach Romp Bump a Lump. Now, you hear that title and you go, this is going to be campy and fun and silly. But this is being billed as a blend between Squid Game and Grease. And if you watch the teaser they put out, you can see the kind of style they're going for. They're going for this very, like, cheesy beach comedy that's slowly being taken over by something sinister, which I'm kind of down for. It's very similar to something like... I guess if you guys have seen Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, think of like the cuteness of that and how it always starts with something cheery and happy, and it's like lovely, and then slowly, like partway through, it becomes like really dark and like bloody and horrific. I feel like that's kind of the style we're getting with here. This is going to be playing at the Southwark Playhouse Borough from the 29th of May running until the 22nd of June. And I really want to go because I don't know what to expect, and I'm kind of down for that. Next up, also at the Southwark Playhouse Borough, we have the transfer of I'm Going to Marry You, Tobey Maguire. This is a show that premiered in NYC last year and is going to be making its London premiere for 6 weeks from the 28th of June. And as well as that, Tessa Albertson is returning to the show and coming over to the UK to reprise her role of Shelby. This is a very like 2000s style play. It looks really interesting. Had a very good response in New York, and I'm very excited to see it over here. Next up, we have Judi Dench. You know who Judi Dench is. Dame Judi Dench. She is going to be appearing in conversation at the Watermill Theatre in Newbury. This is to raise money for that theatre, and she's going to be talking in conversation with Brendan O'Hee to give a unique insight into her illustrious career. This one-off fundraising event is happening on Friday, the 10th of May at 2:30, and is going to be on the backdrop of the theatre's 2024 Shakespeare production, Much Ado About Nothing. This is really interesting. So if you want the opportunity to go see Judi Dench live, this is a good opportunity to do so. Next up, we're heading up north, baby. We're going up, straight up to Sheffield, where Robert Hastie has announced his final season as the artistic director of the Crucible Theatre. There are many productions to go through here, most of them in the Crucible Theatre and a couple in their playhouse as well. So let's go through them. First up, the Crucible Theatre productions. We have artistic director Robert Hasty, who's going to be directing a new production of Chariots of Fire, celebrating the 100th anniversary of record-breaking races at the 1924 Paris Olympics. There's going to be a brand new version of Henrik Ibsen's A Dollhouse, which is being adapted by the legendary Chris Bush, icon, legend, writer of Standing at the Sky's Edge, which you're getting a review of very soon if it hasn't already come out. And it's also directed by Elin Schofield, the pair reuniting after their previous success at the same theatre with Rock, Paper, Scissors. There is going to be a new production as well of Little Shop of Horrors, another Little Shop of Horrors revival. There's many. We got a UK tour going on right now. We've got this revival. We got the one in NYC. We're having a fun Little Shop of Horrors time at the moment. This is going to be the 2024 winter musical at the Crucible, and y'all, I need to get up there. I need to get up there. I'm hoping that this casting is going to be interesting, especially because they're battling a little bit with the current UK tour, which has had, you know, the very typical casting, what you would normally attach to a normal production of Little Shop of Horrors. I'm hoping that this can like spice it up and give us like something fresh and new, or just give us the drag queen again. I never got to see the open air production that at the Regent's Park, and that had Drag Queen Audrey 2. And honestly, if they do Drag Queen Audrey 2 again, I will be happy. And I will be going up to Sheffield. Then in 2025, there is going to be a co-production with the Utopia Theatre to present Death and the King's Horseman. And finally, in this season at the Crucible, there's going to be a brand new version of the award-winning play A Streetcar Named Desire, Tennessee Williams' classic story, directed by Josh Seymour. Over in their Playhouse Theatre, there is going to be a collaboration between Sheffield Theatres and Theatre Centre, presenting Dizzy, a fantastical teenage odyssey of grief, love, and unexpected heroes, and street art by Mohammed Zain Dada. As well as that, we have a play where Western, true crime, and music come together in Kenrex by the makers of the Olivier-nominated hit Cruise. And finally, there is going to be a new adaptation of Pig Heart Boy, the classic book by Melody Blackman. This is being co-produced by the Unicorn Theatre and Children's Theatre's Partnership. That is a stacked season, a very exciting season, so much there that I am very excited to try my best, try my darndest to get up to Sheffield for. And finally, in news this week, we got the exciting announcement that after saying goodbye to it in the West End, Mary Poppins is heading back on tour. Yes, we didn't have to say goodbye to Poppins for too long, as it's going to be returning this November. Initial casting has been revealed for this production, which actually includes 2 reprisals, not of the West End version though, as Stephanie Jones and Jack Chambers are going to be reprising their roles of Mary Poppins and Bert respectively, having played the parts in Australia. This production will open on the 4th of November at the Bristol Hippodrome and then visit Dublin from the 11th of December, Edinburgh from the 22nd of January, Plymouth from the 26th of February, and Manchester from the 9th of April. This is doing something that we've seen very recently with a lot of like Disney shows and like the bigger heavy hitter touring shows where they're doing a longer season, like sit down in a couple of venues. And further venues on this tour will be revealed very soon. But that's it. That's all your theatre news this week. Did I manage to stretch this video enough to make the length worth it? We'll find out after I've edited it. What are you most excited for out of the news this week? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me out, helps the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now and a link to my Instagram if you want to drop me a follow over there. There's also other links, including my merch store and TikTok and all of the other things in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.